Picture this, folks, some arrogant, silver spoon brat just marches straight into my home, my little slice of peace and quiet, and has the nerve to announce he's taking my wife away for a weekend getaway for work. No heads up, no discussion, just straight up entitlement. And just when I thought the situation couldn't get any more absurd, this clown starts tossing out threats like he's some kind of god on a power trip. Every instinct I had was begging me to knock that smug grin right off his face with a good, clean punch. But I held myself back. See, real revenge. It doesn't come in an explosion. It's slow, deliberate, and lands exactly where it's gonna sting the most. And hey, silver lining. The divorce ended up padding my bank account nicely. You're gonna want to hear how this all went down. It all kicked off on a Thursday afternoon. I'd just wrapped up a long, back-breaking day and was tossing my tools into the bed of my truck. I'd been dealing with this wishy-washy client for weeks. Guy couldn't make up his mind on a custom staircase he wanted. One day it was oak, the next day it was steel and glass. He kept flip-flopping so much it freed up my Friday, which, let me tell you, almost never happens. Oh, right, guess I should introduce myself. Caleb Morgan here. I'm 38, make my living as a craftsman, and I run a small carpentry business. We specialize in high-end, custom staircases for people with way too much money to spend. I'm talking big-shot homeowners, luxury hotels, those sleek offices downtown, and trendy restaurants trying to show off. These folks. They'll throw 50 grand at a staircase just so their friends will say, wow. I'd been married to Sienna Rhodes for about 6 years. She's sharp, 25, a brilliant lawyer who handles commercial and intellectual property stuff. Real career-driven, that one. The kind of woman who could slice through any argument with precision and still look like she walked off a magazine cover. Kids? Not even a topic yet. She wanted to make partner at her firm, Dalton, Pierce and Kessler, before she even thought about diapers and midnight feedings. Anyway, I pulled into the driveway a little before 4 p.m. and spotted Sienna's car already there, which threw me off. Thursdays were grind days, usually didn't make it home until late. So seeing her ride parked that early didn't quite fit the usual routine. Curious, I came in through the back door like I always do, boots still dusty, shirt damp with sweat. Right away, I noticed the water pressure felt off, lower than usual. Made me wonder if she was upstairs in the shower, which would have been odd for her. She's more of a morning or late night shower person. After I changed into something more comfortable, I headed upstairs to check things out. Sure enough, there she was, just finished with her shower, fixing herself up in front of the mirror. She was sliding on a pair of black fishnet stockings, and there was this sleek black dress lying across the bed, like she was prepping for a night out. Hey Sienna, I said, trying to keep my tone casual even though alarm bells were going off in my head. Did I forget we had plans tonight or something? Are we heading out? She let out this long, tired sigh, the kind that tells you something's coming and it ain't gonna be good. Then she says, no, Caleb. You didn't forget anything. I'm going out alone tonight. Then she drops the bomb. She won't be back until Sunday afternoon, and she's spending the weekend with Preston Vale. I just stood there, frozen solid. My brain couldn't process what she'd just said. Wait, hold on, what does that even mean? Is this some kind of work trip or something? Her voice went ice cold, like I'd never heard before. Nope, she said. Not work. Preston booked us a suite. She didn't even blink. That hit me like a punch to the gut. You've gotta be kidding me, Sienna. You're really just telling me you're walking out to spend the weekend with another guy? What the hell is this? She stared me down, eyes like steel. You'd better start getting used to this, Caleb. This is how Preston wants things. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So let me get this straight, I said, trying to hold myself together. You expect me to just sit here all weekend, doing nothing, while you're off playing house with some other guy, and then what, pretend everything's fine when you get back? And that's when she gave me this little smirk, just a flicker, but it said it all. I never said this was a one-time thing, she replied. Preston's hinted it might become a regular arrangement. Life'll be a lot easier for you if you don't fight it. That hit me like a freight train, no brakes. I could feel the heat rise in my chest. Sienna, I snapped, you need to seriously rethink this. If you really believe I'm just gonna roll over and let some arrogant rich prick stroll into my life like I'm not even here, you're in for a rude awakening. But she didn't flinch. Didn't care. Just went on brushing her hair, like I wasn't even in the room, like I was some background noise she could tune out. Fuming, I stormed downstairs, yanked the fridge open, and grabbed a cold beer. I needed something to keep me from blowing up. As soon as I popped the top, I heard the low growl of an engine outside, a smooth, purring sound that didn't belong in our neighborhood. Sure enough, a sleek black Mercedes glided up to the curb. Preston Vale had arrived, right on cue. This wasn't our first run-in. I'd met him a couple years back at one of Sienna's office Christmas parties. The guy rubbed me the wrong way from the start. Mid-40s, dressed to the nines like he's constantly closing some billion-dollar deal, and oozing the kind of smugness that makes your skin crawl. Women swooned over him, and he soaked it all up like it was his birthright. As for guys like me, he acted like we didn't even exist. Sienna came down the stairs fast, clearly annoyed, and swung the door open before Preston could even knock. "Sorry he kept you waiting, Preston," she cooed, her voice suddenly soft and syrupy, nothing like the ice she'd been throwing at me moments before. "Looks like my husband's forgotten his manners," Sienna muttered, right as Preston swaggered through the door like he owned the joint. The guy barely set foot inside before firing off. "Hey, Sawdust Boy, heard you're not too happy about Sienna spending the weekend with me." That was it. Fuse lit, and boom, I lost it. "Listen here, you arrogant piece of trash," I shot back, my voice sharp and shaking with heat. "You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out of my house before I call the cops." He just laughed. Real slow, real smug. Then he glanced sideways at Sienna, who gave him that same little smirk, like they were sharing some private joke at my expense. "Go ahead, make the call," he said, leaning back like he had all the time in the world. "Let's see how that plays out for you. Think the cops give a damn? Think again." That's when his eyes locked onto my shirt pocket. "Wait a second," he said, squinting. "You recording this?" Before I could even move, he lunged forward, snatched my phone, and checked the screen. It was locked, but he didn't care, just gave it a lazy flick and smashed it against the tile. Glass exploded everywhere like a gun going off. Then he leaned in close, dropped his voice low and threatening. "Listen real carefully, you insignificant loser. Sienna's with me this weekend, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. She'll be mine whenever I say so. Your opinion doesn't matter one bit. And if I get even a whiff of you trying to guilt her, beg her, or worse, reach out to my wife, I'll make your life a nightmare." He gave me this slow, wicked grin like he was savoring every word. Ever wonder how fast things go south when, say, someone finds something shady on your laptop? Or when folks start whispering about money laundering? Doesn't take much, just a few clicks, and poof, your life's in the gutter. And trust me, Caleb, I know exactly where to click. My fists were clenched so tight I could feel my nails digging in, but I didn't give him what he wanted. I stayed cool, just shrugged like none of it got under my skin. Let him strut. Let him believe he'd already won, because this wasn't the moment. This wasn't the fight. I wasn't about to hand them the pleasure of watching me break down. Payback, real payback, that takes patience. Ice-cold patience. Sounds simple enough, I said, keeping my voice even, casual. Couple fake files, a click here or there, and bam, someone's name is dirt. But, I tilted my head like I was trying to piece it together, isn't having that stuff in the first place illegal? I mean, just possessing it could land you in a cell, right? I said it like we were just shooting the breeze about the weather, not trading threats. Preston's grin only widened. He was loving it. "That's where you don't get it," he said, voice smooth as oil. "What's a felony for a guy like you? It's nothing to someone like me. Power, money, connections, we don't play by the same rules." He let out a sigh like I was boring him, like schooling me was a chore. "Here's a little advice, stick to your hammer and nails, Caleb. Let the grown-ups handle the high-stakes stuff. You're not built for this world." The crap spilling out of his mouth, it was so absurd it could have come from a bad movie script. But he wasn't acting. He believed every ridiculous word he said, and then, just to rub salt in the wound, he threw in one last jab. "Oh, and don't even think about pushing back against me or Sienna. Won't end well." He turned on his heel and waved Sienna over like she was some prize he'd just claimed. She didn't hesitate, grabbed her bag and walked past me without even looking my way. Like I wasn't even there. Like I never mattered. I was furious, yeah, but more than that, I was stunned. Just completely blindsided. And while I stood there stewing in silence, I had this strange moment of gratitude for the thief who broke into my house a year before I ever met Sienna. That scare had pushed me to install a top-notch security system. Cameras, audio, remote backups, all hidden, all active. Sienna had no idea it still ran even when we were home. Preston thought he'd cornered me. Thought I'd just fold. But he didn't know what I had up my sleeve. Lucky break, too, he'd only wrecked my work phone. My personal one was still tucked away, safe and sound. Without wasting a breath, I pulled it out and dialed up Miles Whitaker. Now, Miles isn't just my lawyer, he's family. Married my older sister Elena 10 years back. She was the heart of our family. Losing her in that accident down in Mariposa Ridge, it shattered us, but Miles stayed in the fold. A few years later, he met Naomi, fell hard, and tied the knot. We were all there, me, Sienna, even my parents. Since then, Miles and Naomi have been like brother and sister to me. The kind of people you call when your world flips upside down, and mine sure had. Miles answered on the first ring. I took a deep breath and laid it all out. Preston's threats, Sienna's betrayal, the whole insane scene. He didn't even skip a beat. We'll be there in an hour, he said. Naomi's bringing dinner. Don't talk to anyone. Lock it down. Wait for us. So that's what I did. I shut everything out and waited. My mind kept replaying it all, the smirks, the smashed phone, the way Sienna walked out like our years together didn't mean a damn thing. It finally sank in. She'd traded our life, our marriage, for Preston's wallet and status, and I couldn't help but think back, way back, to where this all started. 8 years ago, I met Sienna at a buddy's birthday party. She wasn't even supposed to be there, just tagging along as the sister of some army guy deployed overseas. From the moment we met, it was like striking lightning in a glass jar, instant connection. A year later, there we were, tying the knot. Back then, I was still clocking hours at Hollis & Sons Woodworks, a no-frills kind of guy who ran a modest operation. I'd started there part-time during college, mostly handling the books and keeping the place financially on track. Then, out of nowhere, he landed 3 monster contracts. Way more work than he could manage on his own. One day he asked if I'd be willing to step out from behind the ledger and help out on the floor. I didn't think twice, I was all in. What started as basic grunt work, sanding, hauling, cutting, lit a fire in me I didn't see coming. Before long, I was taking on small projects by myself, and Burroughs noticed. Turns out I've got a real feel for woodworking. That accounting degree I earned. It's been gathering dust in a drawer ever since. The real rush for me. It's in taking raw wood and shaping it into something damn near art. That drive led me to a proper apprenticeship, and after a lot of long days, sore hands, and late nights, I earned my stripes. Became Burroughs's right-hand guy. When he finally decided to retire, my folks stepped up and helped me buy out his share of the business. Took a couple years to pay off the whole thing, but now it's mine, and it's humming. I even brought on 2 solid guys to help handle the workload. These days, I'm doing well enough that my income's ahead of plenty of Sienna's lawyer buddies, though she never seemed to pay much attention to how far I'd come. Just as that thought was sinking in, the doorbell rang. I opened it up, and there stood Miles and Naomi, arms full of Chinese takeout and a 6-pack of beer. You hangin' in there, Caleb? Naomi asked, pulling me into one of those hugs that makes you feel safe for a second. I can't believe Sienna's doing this. Doesn't seem like the woman I thought I knew. Her voice cracked a bit, like even she didn't buy her own words. Miles followed with a bear hug of his own, solid and grounding. Don't sweat it, brother. We're gonna handle this together. We sat down to eat, and I laid everything out, every messed up second of that afternoon. The confrontation, the threats, the broken phone. I held nothing back. After dinner, I grabbed my laptop, pulled up the footage from the security system, and hit play. The audio came through crisp as fresh air. Sent a chill right up my spine. Miles let out a low growl. I can't believe what I'm hearing, man. Yeah, I replied, deadpan. Whole new level of arrogant. He scoffed. Arrogant? Hell no, this guy's a full-blown idiot. 40-something, right? I asked, watching Preston strut on the screen. 42, maybe, Miles guessed. Guy's old enough to know better than to talk like that. His ego's so inflated, he practically gift-wrapped us a case. I exhaled slow, trying to stay grounded. Yeah, but does any of this even hold water? I didn't exactly get the guy's blessing to record. Miles leaned back, totally at ease. You're fine, man. Your house, your equipment. You've got every right to document what goes down in your own space. But no legal blowback? I asked, needing to hear it clear as day. He hesitated, then gave a small shrug. It's not completely black and white. You're legally solid, but we'll need to tread carefully. As Naomi cleaned up the table, Miles leaned in, voice lower. I did some digging on the ride over. Preston's not just some loaded blowhard, he's Charles Vale's kid. That name ring any bells? I nodded slowly. Of course it did. It was a name that carried weight in the legal world. What you probably didn't know, Miles continued, is Charles didn't make his name on courtroom brilliance. He had connections, judges, prosecutors, law firm execs. College buddies turned power players. That whole network helped him steamroll any case he touched. He paused, giving me a look that told me to buckle in. Preston's walking the same path. Same connections, same playbook. The weight of that hit me square in the chest. That's why he's dangerous, Miles added. It ain't just about money. It's about influence, the kind that can make solid evidence disappear if you're not careful. So what, you're saying I'm screwed no matter what? I asked, frustration bubbling over. No, not screwed, he said, voice steady. But it's gonna be a hell of a fight. The good news? You're not in this alone. I've got people. We just need more than a recording. We need airtight, can't wiggle out proof. And I've got an idea forming. But I thought you just said the judges would side with him. I asked, confused. They will, unless we flip the script and take it criminal, Miles said. That's our edge. Go after him with actual charges. Just as I was about to reply, there was a knock at the door. I opened it and found a short brunette standing there, holding a small bag and looking a little out of place. Mr. Morgan, she asked politely. Ivy, come on in. Miles called out, hopping up. Caleb, meet Ivy Marwood. She's a tech specialist from a PI group I work with. Once she was settled, I gave her the rundown, especially the part about Preston threatening to plant sketchy stuff on my computer. Her face went hard. Okay, here's the deal, she said, cutting right to it. Preston's got two plays if he wants to frame you. First, and this one's risky, he could physically access your machine, plant files, and backdate them to make it look like they've been there forever. If he tries that, your security cams will catch him in the act, so keep those running anytime you're out. She reached into her bag and pulled out a sleek gray device that looked like something out of a spy movie. Second option's remote. He could try uploading files through your network. This device will track every bit of activity on your system, so we'll know the second something shady starts. Right now, priority one is backing up everything, personal, business, onto an external drive. Then we wipe the machine clean. No trace left behind. The calm way she spoke, the way she took control, it actually helped me breathe a little easier. She knew her stuff, and that mattered. Miles stepped closer, focused as ever. All right, Caleb, let's get to work. That recording's solid, but if we swing at Preston with just that, it could fizzle. His people will bury it before it sees daylight. Thing is, he continued, if he actually follows through and plants anything on your system, then we've got him. No way his elite pals will protect him once that gets out. Not when it's real, traceable, and dirty as hell. For the first time that day, a day so packed with chaos I could barely think straight, I felt the tiniest flicker of hope spark to life inside me. If Preston was really as arrogant and reckless as he seemed, there was a solid chance we could turn this whole thing back on him. Still, I couldn't help shaking my head, trying to wrap my brain around all of it. This is next level insane, I muttered. Who the hell has to prep for a frame job just to survive a breakup? Miles's face darkened, jaw tight. Yeah, Preston's operating on a whole different frequency of messed up. One more thing, you should probably stay off your computer for a bit. If he tries to plant anything, investigators will check your usage history. The less you touch it, the clearer it'll be you didn't put any of that junk there yourself. He pointed at my phone. Don't connect that to the Wi-Fi either. Wouldn't put it past him to try sliding in that way. Ivy was already moving, setting up the little gray surveillance gadget like it was second nature. She barely looked up as she explained, this device'll track every attempt to breach your network. If Preston so much as sniffs around, I'll see it. She packed up the rest of her gear, gave us both a sharp nod. I'll shoot you updates the moment anything pings. Good luck, boys. And just like that, she was gone. With the tech side handled, Miles turned to me, all business again. All right. Let's talk real life. You want to file for divorce right away? Or wait and see if Sienna comes to her senses after her little joyride with Mr. Moneybags? I didn't hesitate. No waffling, no second thoughts. Nope, I said, steady as I'd felt in days. I'm done. She made her choice, and it sure as hell wasn't me. I'm not sticking around for round two. Miles gave me a firm nod, no sympathy, no questions. Just understanding. Loud and clear. First thing tomorrow, I'll call Jasmine Vaughn. She's sharp as a tack and doesn't mess around. She'll get this handled clean and fast. Sounds good, I said, feeling the first real weight lift off my chest. Miles promised Jasmine would touch base soon, and we ironed out a few more details, logistics, legal angles, contingency stuff. I handed him the keys to the surveillance setup so he could monitor things remotely and hang on to any new footage that came in. By the time Miles and Naomi packed up and rolled out, it was creeping past 11 p.m. The adrenaline finally drained out of me, and the exhaustion hit me like a sucker punch. My brain was still buzzing like a hornet's nest, but I popped a sleeping pill and, for the first time since all this kicked off, I actually got some rest. Next morning, 8:30 sharp, my phone rang. Jasmine, she was already looped in thanks to Miles and didn't waste a second. I can squeeze you in at 11, she said. Come by the office. I pulled up to her place right on time, and she met me at the door with a no-nonsense handshake. Caleb, I'm sorry you're caught in this mess, she said, cutting to the chase. I've tangled with Preston Vale's crew before. The guy's trouble, through and through. She didn't mince words and dove right into the details. Here's the good news, you bought this house before the wedding, and Sienna's name isn't on a single line of the deed. This place. It's all yours. She can't touch it. That took some serious weight off my shoulders, but one concern still gnawed at me. What about my business? I asked. She gonna come after that? Try to squeeze half out of me. Jasmine didn't blink. She just tapped her screen, and 5 minutes later, Miles walked through the door like he'd been waiting outside. Take a breath, Caleb, he said, flashing that calm, easy grin. Your prenup's solid. Bulletproof. Your shop is yours, period. I let out a slow breath, like I'd been holding it for hours. Finally, relief. Jasmine laid out the financial picture of the divorce, line by line, and made it all sound way less terrifying than I'd expected. We'll serve her the divorce papers at work on Monday, she said. Catch her when she's in the middle of her power woman routine. By 11:30, I was walking out of her office feeling like I'd just taken back control of the wheel on this runaway train. After grabbing a new phone to replace the one Preston turned into a pile of glass, I spent the rest of the weekend holed up in my backyard, working with my hands. Hammering, sawing, sweating through the hours. It's always been my therapy. And man, I needed every second of it. Let Sienna play house with Preston. Let her pretend this was some fairy tale upgrade. I was already laying the groundwork for something stronger, something real. Sunday evening rolled around, and I found myself debating whether I should crash in the guest room or make her do it. Took about 3 seconds to figure that one out. This was my house. She bailed. She made her bed. I boxed up all her stuff, carried it to the guest room, and locked my bedroom door behind me. Key went straight into my pocket. Trophy of the week. Just before 7 p.m., I heard that deep, smooth purr of Preston's car in the driveway. Didn't even flinch, just flipped the surveillance back on like it was muscle memory. Sienna gave him a flirty little wave goodbye before strolling into the house like nothing was wrong. No guilt, no pause, just business as usual. I was camped out in the living room with a book in my lap, playing it cool, not even glancing her way. Hey, sweetie. How was your day? She chirped, voice all fake sugar. I didn't even lift my head. All right, I muttered, flat and cold. Her smile twitched, and just like that, the act dropped. Oh, perfect. Keep sulking then, she snapped. Preston said you'd do this. You never get it, Caleb. You're too stubborn and too damn immature to own your part in all this. Still didn't move. Just turned a page like she wasn't even there. She let out a dramatic huff, stomping upstairs loud enough to shake the ceiling. I counted under my breath just to stay cool. 1, 2, 3. Caleb Morgan, did you seriously lock our bedroom door? She shrieked from upstairs, voice bouncing down the hall. Correction, I called back, calm as ever. That's my bedroom. Your stuff's in the guest room. That's your space till you find a new one. She exploded. This is insane, she shouted, full rage mode activated. Wait till Preston hears about this. This isn't what we agreed on, she shouted, all wound up, her voice sharp enough to slice through drywall. I raised my eyebrows, playing dumb. Agreed on. Sorry, what deal are we talking about? I let just a hint of sarcasm drip into my voice. 'Cause I sure as hell don't remember signing up to be some sidekick in your soap opera. You can either crash in the guest room or hit the road. Maybe Preston's wife has a spot open in her bed. Silence, then, slam. Her door hit the frame like a thunderclap. I waited a beat, then strolled upstairs, stopping just outside the guest room. By the way, I called out casually, I'm still waiting to hear what exactly I was supposed to get out of this little arrangement. Not a sound. Just stone-cold silence behind that door. 15 minutes later, I wandered back downstairs. My phone buzzed with a text from some unfamiliar number. I unlocked it, and my jaw nearly hit the floor. Vale here. What's this I hear, Caleb? Locked Sienna out of her bedroom. Thought I spelled it out, figured even you could follow simple instructions. I'll let this little tantrum slide tonight. But tomorrow, you're cooking her favorite meal and apologizing. Keep it sweet all week and maybe, just maybe, I'll let her hang with you again next weekend. Don't. And you'll see just how real I get. No debate. Got it, this guy had truly lost his damn mind. Arrogant. Delusional. Dangerous. Like some discount Bond villain with more money than brains. I didn't bother responding. Just snapped a screenshot and sent it straight to Miles. He shot back in under 3 minutes. You've gotta be kidding me. This guy really thinks he's untouchable. Keep every message. Don't answer. Let the moron dig his own grave. Preston kept blowing up my phone, firing off messages that got dumber by the minute. I left them all unread, didn't give him the fight he was craving that night. Sienna stayed parked in the guest room. I locked my door tight, double-checked the surveillance system, and went to bed knowing every second was being logged and saved. Come morning, I waited until I heard her car rumble out of the driveway before I even made a move. I poured myself a coffee and sat down to review the footage from the night before. Nothing weird, just her hitting the guest bathroom for a shower, then booking it out. No stolen items. No damage. Just a hit-and-run stay. While I sipped my coffee, another text buzzed in, this one from Jasmine. Hey Caleb, just locking things in. Sienna's getting served with the divorce papers at 10:15 a.m. sharp. I gave the house one last sweep before heading to my workshop. Set the surveillance to ping me if anything stirred inside. At 11, I had a meeting with an architect for a client project. Kept my hands busy and my mind off the insanity. Still, I half expected a nuclear text from Sienna once those papers landed. Nothing. Not a peep. By 10:45, I messaged Miles, still radio silence. No word from her. She's probably already huddled up with Preston, plotting. He replied in a blink, could be. I'll loop Ivy in. Stay alert. The architect meeting went smooth. I stuck around the workshop, cleaning up, rearranging gear, anything to stay distracted. Then at 3:26 p.m., my phone lit up with a motion alert. Game's on. I texted Miles. He sent me a thumbs up emoji. I pulled up the live feed and my heart kicked into overdrive. There she was, Sienna, strolling right into my house with some guy I didn't recognize, walking side by side like they owned the place. No hesitation. Straight to my office. The guy booted up my computer, said something to Sienna, then jammed a flash drive into the USB port like he'd done it 100 times before. I didn't need a tech degree to know what that meant. My stomach twisted, tight and hot. I made damn sure every frame was recorded, the guy's face, full on, crystal clear. Meanwhile, Sienna was packing up her things in trash bags. Guess her suitcases were still locked in my room, out of reach. Once he was done, he shut the computer down, tossed a few last words to her, and slipped out the front door. Sienna wasn't far behind, bolting like nothing happened. Barely 2 minutes later, Miles's name popped up on my screen. Caleb, he said, voice serious, get home and act normal. They're probably planning to sick the cops on you. Could be tonight, maybe tomorrow. Be ready. You think they'll actually arrest me? I asked, feeling my pulse in my throat. Could happen, he admitted. If they do, don't say a single damn word to anyone. Gavin Cross is already looped in. All the surveillance, the recordings, you're covered. Before we hung up, I gave Miles full control of the security system. Just in case. That night stayed quiet. No knock at the door. No texts from Sienna. Preston must have been holding his breath too. I threw together a quick sandwich, put on some rerun crime drama, and tried to shake off the pressure. Next morning, I headed out for a supply run when another alert hit my phone, motion inside the house. I stopped cold and pulled up the camera feed. This time, it was law enforcement. 2 cops were in my home, messing with the alarm system. Then, bam. Feed cut to black. Miles got my message fast, told me he saw it too and had already sent the stills over to Gavin. About an hour later, 2 officers showed up at my shop. No lights, no shouting, just business. They cuffed me, read me my rights, and stuffed me in the back of their cruiser. I kept my mouth shut, exactly like Miles told me. They asked questions. I stayed silent. At the station, they took my phone and wallet, then dumped me into a holding cell with 4 other guys. No one talked. 3 long hours dragged by. Finally, a guard pulled me out and led me to a windowless room. I furrowed my brow. Wait, I haven't even called my lawyer yet. The door opened, and in walked a man in a tailored suit, cool as ice, like the place didn't faze him one bit. Early 40s, dark hair, sharp eyes. He closed the door behind him and sat down. Mr. Morgan, he said calmly. I'm Gavin Cross, your attorney. He set down a leather notebook and clicked a pen. I imagine you already know why you're here. This whole thing's a flaming wreck, but lucky for you, I specialize in dragging guys like you out of the fire. I raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah. They threw me in that cell like it was some kind of checkmate, expecting my lawyer to come swooping in and clean up whatever mess they stirred up. Gavin just gave a knowing half-smile. Yeah, not exactly how this works, he said, keeping his voice low. This arrest. It's all theater. They know the case is flimsy. What they're banking on is you cracking under pressure. He glanced toward the guard post through the narrow window, then leaned in just slightly, voice dropping even lower. They're hoping you panic, say something dumb, maybe give M just enough rope to tighten the noose. His eyes were sharp, deadly serious now. But you're not gonna bite. Keep your mouth shut and let me run this show. I gave a dry laugh. I haven't done a damn thing wrong. And that's exactly why I'm here, to make sure that truth comes out, he said, flipping open his notepad with confidence. We just have to play this clean and smart. The guard stayed planted outside while Gavin walked me through our next steps, breaking everything down with methodical precision. We were mid-discussion when the door suddenly swung open. In strutted Preston Vale, grinning like he just won a damn trophy. His smug face looked like it had been carved out of pure ego. He took his time, easing into the chair across from me, acting like he'd already won. Well, he said, lacing his fingers on the table. Finally starting to see how deep you're buried, huh? I stared him down, blank as stone. That only egged him on. I'm talking to you, Morgan, he snapped. Say something. I gave him nothing. Not even a twitch. He leaned in, sneering. Acting tough now. Here's the deal, it's your word against mine. You're just a no-name carpenter. I'm a respected attorney. Who do you think the judge is gonna believe? Still nothing from me. Just silence. He pushed his chair back with a dramatic sigh. Fine. Sit in your cell and stew on it. We'll catch up tomorrow. And with that, he sauntered out, leaving behind the stink of arrogance and bad cologne. Later that afternoon, they brought me back into the meeting room. This time, a different guy was waiting, tall, blonde, sharp-suited, and looked like he didn't put up with crap. As soon as I walked in, he stood and reached out a hand. Caleb, right. I'm Derek Shaw, but just call me Derek. His grip was firm, his energy solid. The kind of guy who'd get things done without breaking a sweat. Miles tried to reach you earlier, he said, motioning for me to sit. When he couldn't, we figured they scooped you up. Something about Derek's calm presence leveled me out a bit. I laid it all out, Preston's smug visit, the whole circus. Derek listened carefully, nodding, eyes narrowing just slightly when Preston's name came up. All right, he said once I finished. You're in front of a judge tomorrow. Bail's gonna be steep, but Miles is already on it. I nodded, heart heavy. And until then. Stay silent, he said, tone firm as a brick wall. No matter what they try, no matter what they say, don't speak. You've got me in your corner now, Caleb. And I promise you, Preston's not walking away clean. The next morning, I stood in front of a judge and pled not guilty to the bogus charge they slapped on me, something about illegal files on my computer. Bail came in at $35,000. Insane, but Miles handled it like a pro. By afternoon, I was out. Breathing fresh air. They laid down the usual conditions, no travel, no contact with Sienna, Preston, or anyone tied to their firm, but I could head back to my shop and get to work. The cops gave me back my wallet and phone, and Derek whisked me off to a quiet diner across town to talk strategy over a late lunch. Kept it vague back at the station, he said, sliding into the booth across from me. But I've been digging into Preston. Got a few nuggets to ease your mind. He leaned forward, keeping his voice low. First red flag, the timing. They arrested you before even finishing their so-called search. That's not protocol. Second, he went on, Preston strolling in to talk trash while you're in custody. Totally unethical. This whole thing. It's a setup, and a sloppy one. I rubbed my jaw, thinking it over. That's good and all, but the guy's got pull. Friends in the system. Derek gave a faint smirk. Yeah, he's got buddies. But you rack up that many allies, you're bound to stack up enemies too. He sipped his coffee. And we're gonna find every last one of them. I slumped back in my seat, tension returning. I've got no clue what I'm walking into at home. For all I know, Sienna and her little hacker pal tore the place apart. Derek gave a sly smile. Wanna go check it out? His expression hardened a bit as he added, if they stole anything, we'll make damn sure they regret it. Preston's got money and favors. But we've got truth. Evidence. The law on our side. Stick with me, Caleb, we're gonna take this guy down. And the crazy thing was, I believed him. He had that steady confidence, like he'd seen every trick in the book and knew how to turn it inside out. Still, that didn't stop the worry eating at me. I'd seen firsthand just how low Preston could go. But Derek was right, things were falling into place. The trail was there. I just had to follow it. I walked into my house bracing for a wreck. Instead, it was dead quiet. Almost eerie. Sienna's stuff. Gone. Not a sock or suitcase in sight. No smashed furniture. No obvious damage. But something still felt off. I stepped into my office, heart pounding. My computer screen glowed in the dim light. Nothing unusual there, but then I spotted the drawer where I kept my business backup drive, wide open, empty. I rushed over and rifled through it. Nothing. Not even a post-it left behind. I clenched the edge of the desk, knuckles white. They took it. I didn't waste a second. Dialed Derek immediately. "Hey," I said, voice tight, "something's off. Sienna and Preston came through here. My backup drive, it's gone. No idea what they're planning, but they've got a head start." Derek didn't miss a beat. "Take a breath. We're already a few steps ahead of them. Losing that drive stings, yeah, but it's not the end game." He paused, then added with conviction, "Their mistake is thinking they've got you cornered. We've got the footage. The messages. The motive. They're digging their own graves, we're just gonna help push the dirt in." A few days later, I got a call from Derek, and it hit like a lightning bolt. "Charges against you. Gone," he said, voice lit up. "Case collapsed. Inspector assigned to it's a no-nonsense guy, doesn't flinch at blackmail, didn't blink at Preston's reputation. In fact, he's turning the tables." He paused for effect. "Preston's getting hit with blackmail, tampering with evidence, and illegal possession. And Sienna? She's getting slapped with a conspiracy charge." I let out a long, shaky breath. First time in weeks I felt something close to relief. Justice, real justice, finally showed its face. Not long after that, Miles rang and invited me over for dinner. I was halfway out the door when Jasmine Vaughn, my family lawyer, called with another update. "Caleb," she said, right to the point, "just got off the phone with Sienna's attorney. She's ready to sign the divorce papers, no edits, no arguments. But she's asking for one condition, a private hour-long sit-down with you here at my office." Just hearing that twisted my stomach up. The idea of facing her again made my chest tight, but if it helped wrap this up faster, I'd grit my teeth and push through. "Fine," I said. "Let's get it over with." The following Wednesday, I pulled up to Jasmine's office. She met me at the front door, looking serious. "I've got no clue what Sienna plans to say," she warned. "But listen, she's still under investigation. Assume she's recording you. Don't give her anything to twist." "Got it," I said, nodding. "No slip-ups." When I stepped into that small meeting room, I barely recognized the woman sitting there. She looked wrecked, pale, worn down, like a ghost of who she used to be. "Thanks for coming," she said softly, voice trembling. "Caleb. I'm ashamed. I don't know what I was thinking. You were good to me. Really good." I didn't say a word, just let her talk. "Preston, he had me wrapped up in his world. I couldn't see what was happening until everything crumbled. The second your charges got dropped, and I realized I might be next, it snapped me awake." She gave a bitter laugh, brushing at the corners of her eyes. "And for what? For some guy who never cared about me. It's over. I quit my job. Told Preston I'm done." I stood up slowly. "I hope you find peace, Sienna." That was it. She'd eventually take a plea deal, cooperated with the feds, handed over evidence on Preston to lighten her load. Moved to another city. We never spoke again. Meanwhile, Preston's entire empire started collapsing. News broke wide, his blackmail, his fake evidence, more victims crawling out of the woodwork. 2 more people came forward, each with their own stories of being threatened and manipulated, with all the evidence stacked against him, including our surveillance, his own idiotic texts, and Sienna's confession. He got nailed. Judge handed him 15 years. No parole. After the trial wrapped, I hit him and his firm with a lawsuit. Took months of courtroom slugfests, but they caved. Settled for $3.20 million. I slid a good chunk of that over to Miles. He tried to wave it off, said he didn't do it for the money, but I wouldn't hear it. Guy had my back every step of the way. Life started picking up. Business was booming. I hired a few more folks, people who felt like family instead of just workers. A few months down the line, I went to a backyard barbecue at Miles and Naomi's. That's where I met Naomi's younger sister, Autumn. We hit it off instantly, like we'd known each other forever. For the first time in a long while, I felt that flicker of something real again. Hope. A few weeks after the civil case closed, I did something I wasn't sure I'd ever do. I visited Preston in prison. The guards brought him out, wrists cuffed, face twisted the second he saw me. Anger blazing in his eyes. "What the hell do you want, Morgan?" he spat. I laughed. "Relax, Preston. Just here to remind you how beautifully you torched your own life. Thought you were untouchable, didn't you? I gave a slow, mocking once-over of his orange jumpsuit. Gotta say, that shade really suits your whole king of the world vibe. His jaw clenched. Oh, and word is Camille left you, I added, twisting the knife just a little. I took her out for a real dinner, not just food, but warmth, respect, and everything she forgot she deserved. I showed her what love is supposed to feel like. His face went beet red, fists curling tight. You son of a, save it, I cut in, calm as ever. I've said what I came to say. Oh, that hummingbird tattoo on her thigh. Beautiful. I had all the time in the world to take it in, and somehow, it's still etched in my mind. Kinda adorable, huh? He lunged at me, wild-eyed, but the guards yanked him back before he got close. I turned and walked out without so much as a glance behind me. Whatever fire he thought he had left didn't mean a damn thing to me because my future, it was already calling, and I wasn't dragging any dead weight with me.